Hello, my name is Corey from viamods.com, and in this video I'll be teaching you how to add zombies. But before we get started, I want to say a huge thank you for all the support that you've given me on these videos so far, with likes and comments and all of that. I also want to say thank you for all the support we've gotten on our forums. Our community is growing, and if you guys have not signed up yet, you can definitely do so by going to viamods.com. Link will be in the description, or you can also click the card that'll pop up on the screen now on the top right. So let's go ahead and add in the zombies. So I actually deleted all the spawns. As you can see, the spawner in here is still in here, so don't delete that. You do need the zone. I will not be going over zones in this tutorial. That'll be its own tutorial. So just keep the start zone in there already. And then we'll just add the zombie spawners for that. So to add any zombie spawner, first you actually have to add in the spawner. So deselect everything by hitting escape. We're actually going to hit B on our keyboard to bring up the entity browser. We're going to go to actor, just like the dog, but this one we're going to choose just the zombie. So then just drag that anywhere in your map. It doesn't need to be anywhere specific. It can be in the air, as you can see I'm putting here, as long as it is in the map. You only need one per zone. So you don't need a multiple of them per zone. What we're going to do is we're just going to make one spawner, and then we'll make different locations, which is nice. So you only need one. You could use another one. You can use more than one, but you only need one. When you're done with that, you can actually hit N on your keyboard to bring up the entity info, and here we're going to give it some keys and values. So the first one that we're going to actually change is co-op count. We're going to change it from 1000. We're going to change this to 9999. This is how many times a zombie would spawn at this spawner. Now I'm not sure if that's like per round or just in total. I assume if someone's on a really high round and it's only in total, then you would need more than one, because eventually this would run out. But I'm not really sure. The documentation really just says like a maximum amount of zombies, and I'm not sure if that's per round or in total. Then what we want to do is we want to change count, make count the same, just make it 999. We're obviously doing the same for co-op and for regular. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change the target name to whatever you want. You actually don't need to give it one, but you can change it to whatever you want. That way you know which one is which in case you want to target them later for some reason. There's these little spawn flags right here, alert on spawn. You can actually turn that off, and make room, turn that to true. Now I apologize, I'm not exactly sure what make room means, but it was ticked by default, so I'm assuming that it's well, let's see, we'll try to delete an AI if spawning fails from too many AI. So that's true. That doesn't seem right, because maybe. So that's kind of what that means. So if there's too many zombies spawning, it'll try to delete a zombie so that they don't get, combined, I guess. So that's kind of good. I guess that's why we do there. Yeah, just kind of highlight over them. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add it some keys and values. So the first one is going to be script underscore disable underscore bleeder, and then this is going to be set to 1, which is for true. I assume that this means is don't let a bleeder survive. If there's a bleeder survive, kill him off and then spawn a new one. At least that's what I took from that. I'm not exactly sure. The next one is going to be script underscore force spawn. That is going to be set to 1 as well, just saying, hey, force the spawns, make sure that they're always spawning. And then the last one is going to be script underscore note worthy. I always mess up on this word. And then that's going to be called zombie underscore spawner. And then this is the only one that has to be the zombie spawner, so make sure that it is the script underscore noteworthy zombie spawner. So that's it. Obviously you would make multiple ones for different areas, but at this point we only need it right now. And that's the only one that we need then. So we can actually deselect that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add in some script structs so that we can find the locations for the zombies. To do that, hit B on your keyboard, toggle, highlight script, right click and toggle favorite if you haven't already done that. That way you can actually right click and then go to script, and then we're going to do struct. Now for me, I'm going to put it in the same locations that they were before, because we will go over outside spawns and then we'll go over inside spawns. So these are actually going to be risers, which means zombies come out of the ground. So you want it halfway in the ground, halfway out of the ground. You could make it where zombies just appear out of thin air, but this is better to have them come out of the ground even if they're outside of the map. It also gives the players a little bit more time as well when the round starts, because all the zombies have to come out of the ground first. Then just hit N on your keyboard to give it some keys and values. The first thing is these directions right here. You can actually click it so that it's facing the correct direction, just that way the zombies spawn in looking this way rather than the other way. Then what we're going to do is we're going to give this a target name. The target name must be your zone. So for us, it's start underscore zone because it's the first one, but it's whatever your zone name is, and then underscore spawner. Spawners with an S. And then if you did that correctly, since we already have the zone, you should see a little red line that goes from the middle of our zone to the spawner. That means that this spawner location is targeting our zone, well, being targeted by our zone, I should say, so it's working properly. The next KVP that we're going to add is going to be script underscore note worthy, and then this is going to be called riser location, and that's really, like I said already, just telling the zombies to rise out of the ground rather than spawn out of thin air. And then the last thing we're going to give it is a script underscore string, and this is going to be called receiver set entry underscore A. Now I haven't done a lot of testing. I'm not sure if this could be any words or anything like that, but I assume that it has to, because it's a string, it's looking for the same strings. So I just go with the receiver underscore set underscore entry and then underscore a different letter. I'll probably do some testing later if you can use different words, but for now we'll just keep it like that and then hit enter. And then that's it. You're actually done with the zombie spawner. So this is an outside one. You could obviously copy this. So what we'll do is we will actually copy this, and I'll just move it over to here for now, and we'll work on that in a moment. So now that we have a spawner location, now what we need to do is, because it's outside, we actually have to spawn a window. To spawn the window, hit B on your keyboard, go over to miss right here, right click, toggle favorite, and now we can actually right click, go to miss, and then we're going to do prefab. Another way to do this, and the way I prefer, is actually you can go up to the top right here, right click, and go to prefab browser, and then you can actually just navigate to your prefabs. So it'd be under ZM core, and then right here is the barricade receiver wood, and then you can actually just drag that into your map like so. It's much quicker doing that, so make sure you always go up to the prefab browser, much quicker. Now what you want to do is you want to just line it up. Now as you can see, it's going to line up perfectly with the windows. So if I move it out of the way, this little line right here, this little blue line, should match up kind of flush with the wall, and then that'll be perfect. Now actually based on that, it's actually this one. Is it this one? I think I had an error with this before. Give me 1 second. Yes. So as you can see, it's not perfect. I thought it was, but it doesn't seem to be perfect. So what you want to do is you want to move it back a bit so that the boards are touching the wall, but not in the wall. And we actually have to zoom in a bit and change these grids. I thought they did this perfect, but apparently they did not. Because at first I thought it was this, but then you see the boards don't connect. So just play around with it. We're actually going to make it look like, let me change the grid a bit. We'll zoom in a bit. Is that perfect? You can do what you want. You can be as precise as you want, but you want it to look at least good. Some of the boards are actually inside the window, which is a little confusing. What I mean by that is like, they come out of the window, so we can do, it's right about there and there. Is that right? Yeah, that looks right then. So it would be about there. Some of the boards are in the window, some of the boards are out. Obviously play around with it, and then change the view, and then just make sure that it's lined up perfectly. So it will line up perfectly with the height of the doors, so make sure that the windows and all this are the same height. This blue line right here is the window frame, we'll call it. So just make sure that it's lined up, and then you can build your map around that as well, and then that would be perfect. The only thing that doesn't seem perfect is it doesn't line up perfectly with the walls, so you have to play around with that. So now that you have that selected and in, what you want to do is hit N on your keyboard, go to add KVP, and we're really just going to give it the same script string that we gave our spawner. So script underscore string, and then this is going to be called receiver underscore set underscore entry underscore A, and there you go. So at that point they will target each other, and then the zombie that spawns will then go to this window and this window only, which is quite nice. Now let's go ahead and making another one. So I actually created this target, like I said earlier, this script struct location, and at this point you can kind of just copy them once you do them. And what we're going to do is we're actually just going to drag it over here, because I built another outside, quote, outside spawn. We'll do like this, and then we'll go over to this one. All right, so now once you've done that, just hit N on your keyboard again to bring up the entities. We're going to change the position, that way it's facing forward. And then all you have to do is change the script string if it's going to be in the same zone. So at that point, just change A to B and you're already done. You've now made another one. Just make sure it's halfway in the ground and all that. And then obviously go back to the prefab browser, drag in another window. This one we have to rotate around. And at this point, I'll just line it up perfect. Maybe I was wrong earlier, but I know it doesn't, I don't think it's perfect. So we could just do it like that. That looks, see, that looks good, but when you zoom in, it doesn't. And then change the views. All right, so that's the window, and then just again hit N on your keyboard and then give the window the same script string as your other spawn. So it would be receiver underscore set underscore entry, and then this time B, because it's our second one, and then that's just the naming convention that I do. And that's pretty much it then. So this zombie will spawn in and go to this window, this zombie will spawn in and go to this window. So now that we're done with the outside spawns, let's go to the inside spawn. So inside spawns are very simple as well. What you want to do is then just right click, go to script struct. This is going to give us a little box. Change the view, make sure again that it's halfway in the map and halfway out of the map. Halfway in the ground and halfway out of the ground. And then we're just going to give it pretty much the same ones except for the last script string. So again, it's going to be, target name is going to be your zone. So ours is start underscore zone because it's the first one. And then spawners with an S. And as you can see, that red line appeared again. Then what we're going to do is we're going to give it a script underscore noteworthy. And it's going to, I forgot the Y. And again, it's going to be a riser underscore location, which means that it's coming out of the ground. And then last but not least is the script string. So since this one is inside the map, it's not going to look for a window. What it's going to do is it's going to find underscore flesh, which just means spawn in and find a human. And at that point, then all you have to do to make multiple ones is hit space on your keyboard to copy and then put them anywhere that you want zombies to spawn, and then obviously change the direction so that the zombies spawn facing your player. And that's it. That is how simple zombies are. Now again, we did not go over zones. I will be doing a different tutorial on that, but all you really need is a spawner, and then you just need you know, the locations and the doors. So let's take a look at in-game and see how it works. Alright, so here we are inside the map, and as you can see, my barriers are on there. Did I line them up perfectly? I did not. They do look kind of bad. I guess maybe, I'm not sure how to properly do them then. But this zombie is spawning out of the ground. This zombie spawning out of the ground. Those zombies spawn, they're going to that window, they're going to this window. This zombie, is this one going to spawn? Let's try to kill a zombie and get a spawn here. So let me check the other windows and maybe I did do it correctly. Maybe it does line up perfectly. Let's see here. You just got to kind of tweak around it. You know, trial and error, I guess. Let's see what this one does. Yeah, they don't line up either. So they don't line up by default. Yeah, I mean, they look a little bit better. Some of these are. Let me see this window then. So they don't seem to line up by default. And then this is the one that I changed. These kind of line up a little bit better. Okay, I guess the boards are kind of just random. Do some testing, I guess, kind of push it in the wall a bit. But that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, please check out viamods.com. Sign up for the forums if you haven't already. You know, we're definitely growing quite a bit. More tutorials to come. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.